It is now time for Ask the Expert. The caveman or paleo diet is the latest eating craze in the U.S. and it's popular among books, blogs, food, everything. If you love it, you do it.
The question, should you be giving the paleo diet a closer look? Our registered dietitian, Lori Meyer, joining us live this afternoon to tell us, first of all, what is this paleo or caveman diet, whatever you want to call it?
Well, it is the caveman diet. It's from the Paleolithic era. This was pre-agricultural farming time, so we were hunters and gatherers, and so anything that you could hunt or gather, you could eat.
Okay.
And the thinking behind this is, since our genes haven't changed that much since that time, maybe we should be eating closer to what our Paleolithic ancestors ate to prevent a lot of the modern diseases.
Okay.
So if we take a look, we can see what is allowed on the diet would be meats, poultry, any fish and seafood, eggs, fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, and honey was the only sweetener really that was used. Maybe a little maple syrup eventually, but honey was the main sweetener. Things that we did not eat were grains, dairy foods, legumes, any refined vegetable oils, sugar, and processed foods. So a lot of the standard American diet is not included in that.
So what is the advantage to the paleo diet?
Well, the big advantage, and I think the reason why it's such a craze right now, is weight loss. We're seeing a lot of people who go paleo end up losing weight, and in fact there was a good study that was just published. It was the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Swedish researchers took at a group of women, postmenopausal women. These are women who usually have a hard time losing weight. One group high fiber, low fat, the other group paleo. The paleo lost probably twice as much weight. They kept twice as much weight off. This was a 2-year study, so it was a fairly long term. They also lowered triglyceride levels and especially abdominal fat loss. Other studies on paleo have shown reduction in blood sugar levels, cholesterol levels, less allergies, less autoimmune disorders. So there is some merit there that it may end up being a fairly good diet for some people.
The downside, this is tough to do because these are foods that are tough to avoid.
These are, these are the standard American diet, and you have to give up grains, dairy, legumes. These are part of our diet, and if you can't give that up, this isn't the diet for you. However, if you get results, it might be worthwhile. You also spend a lot of time cooking because you don't use processed foods, processed oils, and also there can be some nutritional deficiencies. So what's really important is to make sure that you get enough fish and seafood, and if you're going to follow this, liver and other organ meats and leafy green vegetables, because these tend to be the nutrients that tend to be missing the most. So make sure that if you're going to follow, get that. It's not necessarily low carb because there are squashes, sweet potatoes, fruits are allowed on this. It's just not the grain squash or starches. And then there's a lot of new products that are coming out. This happens to be a paleo wrap. These are made out of coconut, so there's no carb in this, and so you can use them. I mean, and they work pretty well.
And your almond bread is phenomenal.
This is a bread. You make it out of almond flour.
You're always tasting
something.
No, I've had this before. It's really,
and
really
so
good.
if you really are missing your bread, you can make a sandwich out of that. Here's a cauliflower mashed potato, and then there's bars. I mean, we're going to start seeing more and more of these foods.
Lori, and you get rid of the salt, right?
Well, salt is, minimal.
Got a question for the expert? Send an email to asktheexpert@tmj4.